Hi everybody, I want to talk a little bit more about the Orbifold Tarot and some of the experiences I've been having with using that deck lately. First of all, I love the deck. I think it's a fantastic deck and it is really becoming one of my favorite decks. And I know I've always said that the Alchemical Tarot is my favorite deck. But having used this a while, to me this is the deck that the alchemists would have used. That is truly how I feel about it. So let me just tell you about a few experiences I've had. The first card I want to talk about is the Temperance card. And I had a really nice meditation with this card. So let's take a look. First you can see the balance here. We have on the one side fire and water and fire and water and so on. This here we have water and fire. So really balancing those energies. And as we look in the center of the card, we see the air element. That to me brought in such an important element because when we think about temperance and healing ourselves or even healing others and bringing in balance, think about the breath and how we use our breath to heal. And if you've ever done any Tai Chi or Qigong or even yoga, there is such an emphasis on breath and breathing, especially that lower abdominal breathing. And that is how we balance and heal. So that is the strong impression I had when I worked with this card. And the day that I picked this card, this image stayed with me all day and really reminding me to, reconnecting me with that understanding of our breath, healing, balance, and intuition as well. So let's move on to the Judgment card. Another incredible inspiration / meditation, I guess we could say. Let's take a look at this here. Now we have the earth element, and you'll see that, that green there is signifying the earth element. And we have a lot of air element, and it's interesting that we have varying gradations of the air element here. So on the bottom of the card, that gold, that yellow is very dark and dense. And as it moves up, it becomes lighter. And we're having, you'll see that, it's white. There's a mix of white bringing in the idea of spirit. So when I started this, working with this card, and what came in my mind's eye is that I saw that I was sitting at a little wooden desk, the kind of a desk that a child would use at school. And I thought, oh, really nice that it's wooden because it's bringing in the earth element. And of course, at a desk, I'm a student. So to observe and learn, to observe and absorb the information that would be coming through. Now, when I acknowledged that, what happened was then I saw myself more in a forest, so a little deeper into the earth energy. And then the understanding that came through was that in this card, as we look here, this that looks like an eye can be considered a portal. And that this portal can go both ways. Of course, the idea that you see in a lot of judgment cards where people are transcending upward. But as I thought about the portal, I could see that it can go the other way, and information from our higher self can be channeled downward as well. So there's that upward and downward motion. Our thoughts can go up and we can transcend while we are grounded, while we are here on earth. And also, like I said, that spiritual information from our higher self can come down. So I thought that was really so interesting, so fascinating, and so valuable to have had that insight in working with this card. And, I do want to say also that, we don't have to leave our body to transcend, but to be grounded here where we live on our earth in our physical body and transcend in a spiritual way is really coming through for me in this outstanding card. So I've also had a reading, one day I had a reading. It's funny, I usually, when I do a reading, a lot of times I'll just choose 3 cards for myself if I'm doing maybe a daily draw or something like that. And a couple of times now, a 4th card would fall out. So I'm getting the idea that this deck seems to work well with 4 cards. So I had 4 cards, and every one was water. And I did notice that I was feeling kind of run down. And I thought about how that reading of all that water was, what it was really saying to me, because it didn't seem like a particularly emotional reading for me. Like I said, I was feeling run down, so I started to think, again, kind of connecting with my like the qigong that I do. I was starting to think about the kidney energy and how me feeling run down and having all these water cards, maybe my kidney energy is a little low. Perhaps I need to do some exercises and work on that and balance that. And one of the cards was the Two of Water. And that really did put me in mind of balancing the kidneys. So what I'm saying here is that the deck for me is working on many levels. It's working on a very practical level, a very physical level. It has also worked on a very emotional level, and then on this level of inspiration. And when I work with the deck, I do feel a very strong connection, even in my heart chakra to it. There's something about working just so purely with the elements and these spheres or circles that resonates very deeply with me. The deck has a vibrant energy, and it also seems to me to have a lot of sexual energy. And again, I think it's because we're working with the raw elements here. You know, speaking of that, I do want to talk about the Lover's card and a wonderful moment I had with this card, meditating on this. So as you see, there is, you know, again, we have the fire and water in a ring balancing. And what came to me is, there was an old form of dancing that involved courtship, and it was very elegant, and it was called the waltz. And that is what this card reminds me of. So people would choose a partner. So right there we have the male and female energy, or the fire and water energy. And then, you know, the movement, you know, they're circling. And if you've ever seen the waltz performed, maybe from a bird's eye view where there are several couples, it is absolutely beautiful. It's so, to me, it's very moving. Of course, I'm a dancer, so that will have an effect on me, and likely why I saw the card in that way. But when I thought about, you know, the couple and then several couples moving, and that's how I would see each. So, you know, like this whole ring just moving in movement, but in perfect balance of fire and water. It's very beautiful. And also, you know, when you dance, you're creating a pattern on the floor as well. So all that came to me in this card. And, you know, now that was the inspiration at the moment. Perhaps another time I'll pick this card and think of something different. So I'm not saying that these are some set in stone meanings. I'm saying that these were ideas and inspirations that came to me. And when we're working with a deck like this, you know, it's important, I think, for each of us to have our own visions and experiences. There's no reason to work by rote, especially with a deck like this. And I do want to talk about one more card, and that is the Sun card. And as soon as you look at it, you're going to feel happy. It's vibrant and beautiful. And there are a number of things I like about this card. First of all, he incorporated fire and air here. So you see red and yellow. And you do see those little bits of white bringing in spirit as well. Before we get to that, though, I do want to also acknowledge how much I like the use of the number 9. There are just layers of 9 petals or circles. So that, for me, that is a very special number. It always has been. And, of course, this card is 19. But let's look at the center of this card. So, as I said, there are all these layers, and at the very center there is one point of light. It is white, pure white. And as I worked with that, and I really like that the white in the middle, that spirit in the middle, and connecting again with the breath, that we can sort of breathe in the solar energy, and breathe in the healing that working with solar energy would bring, and then see, you know, how does it affect our heart? How do you feel? You know, it's for me, it's a very warm sensation in my heart. As I work with the solar energy, breathe it in, and use it in a very practical way in my life. And it puts me in the mind of an old song. It was an old Pink Floyd song, and one of the lines in the song was, set the controls for the heart of the sun. And I always felt that was such a profound verse. and one that, you know, I can really connect with when I'm working with the solar energy. So a beautiful card, incredible deck, and my readings, meditations, and just working with this deck, it has been really an expansive experience for me. So thank you, everyone. I would love to hear if there's anybody here who's also working with this deck and some of your experiences. So thanks, and have a great day. Bye.